Soundstripe. 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 Soundstripe.
Well, here we go. This is a Sunday, and it may be hard to believe, but President Trump has bombed another country, and we are bombing Iran. And so I started with a long. I looked for some music today. By the way, this is Jim Stordahl. Hashtag bipolar dad. I used to be hashtag Jim the bus driver. Now I've graduated to bipolar dad because I am retired from 10 years of driving a school bus. Anyway, back to the latest bombing. We're 24 hours into the bombing of Iran, and it's not looking good. I don't see any reasons. I've been online and I've been watching the news, and there just doesn't seem to be any reason for us to be doing this. And that's the story for today. We're in another war, and civilians are getting killed. First bomb landed on a elementary school. Some 50, 60 kids were killed. I just don't know. That music you just listened to comes to you from Soundstripe, and it's called The Long Winter by Cody Martin. The Long Winter by Cody Martin. And I was really attracted to the title because of the disparity of learning that we're bombing another country. The worry is piling up. So I started reading on my last podcast. I started reading from my book, Send My Mail to the End of the Trail, a variety of short stories and memories from an Iowa grandfather. And you can get your copy for less than $10. All you have to do is dial up or Google Amazon, get on Amazon, print in my name, James Stordahl, Stordahl, and you get a look at my 8 books. I'm a mental health advocate, and I'm writing about living with, coping with, enduring mental health problems. I've been bipolar 2 all my life. And I'm looking at age 80 coming up. So here we are. We're going to we're going to start again where I left off. We're talking about worry. During the virus downtime since 2020, and virus has really never gone away. It's back with a brand new number. I had my vaccination. I hope you've had your vaccination. Look what's happening when they stopped vaccinating kids for measles. It's in every state again. We had it eliminated. Get your vaccination. During the virus downtime, I've had the opportunity to reread a couple of motivational books from the business legend Harvey Mackay. Mr. Mackay's bestsellers, Swim with the Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive, and Beware the Naked Man Who Offers You His Shirt, has been named by the New York Times as 2 of the most inspirational business book of all time. And if you email Harvey Mackay, he'll mail you one of those books for free. How cool is that? Inspiration is something we can all use. Mr. Mackay tells us that there is an old saying, worrying won't stop the bad stuff from happening. It just stops you from enjoying the good. I know I've been worrying a lot, and I finally got credit, or let's see, how are we going to put it? I finally got labeled, I finally got graded, I've finally been identified after all the doctors I've seen. I'm now an 80% disabled veteran. Insomnia, loss of hearing, but bipolar 2 really has knocked me out in my life. And over 10 different reasons to put me on the bipolar 2 rack, and I'll be talking about that later, but it sure explains a lot of my life. Worry is our most destructive habit. Worry does not do any good. Most of the things we worry about don't happen. Worry is wasting today's time to clutter up, tomorrow's opportunities with yesterday's troubles. Dr. Charles Mayo, one of the co-founders of the Mayo Clinic, I'm sure you've all heard of the Mayo Clinic. It's up in Rochester, Minnesota. He has said that worry affects circulation. It affects the heart. It affects the glands, the whole nervous system, and profoundly affects the heart. The doctor said he has never known a man who died from overwork, but many who had died from doubt. In Mr. McKay's most recent book, You Haven't Hit Your Peak Yet, he wrote a chapter on the second 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not worry, for worry is the most unproductive of all human activities. A day of worry is more exhausting than a day of work. People get so busy worrying about yesterday or tomorrow, they forget about today. And today is what you have to work with. One of the greatest motivators of all time, Dale Carnegie, wrote a must-read book that has been around for as long as most of us have been alive. How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. He published that in 1948, and it's still as valuable as it was then. Dale Carnegie, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. Changing workplaces, seeking soft skills. In the past 20 years, in retirement from the U.S. Postal Service, I have supplemented my income with a growing number of part-time jobs. I started a couple days a week working as a substitute associate for the local Ankeny, Iowa school system. Mostly a strong back to help with some special ed kids that needed a big guy in the mix. Sometimes we're on the floor, sometimes we're on the playground, sometimes we're chasing. It was a very good experience. But I'm telling you, special ed teachers are underpaid, overworked, short-staffed. That has got to be looked at. In 2008, when the recession hit, I started seeking jobs with more hours and greater reward. Next stop, part-time for Durham School Services, driving for the Ankeny school system as a school bus driver. 12 years, 15 years, I'm telling you. When I tell people I've been driving school bus for more than a dozen years, they look at me and say, "Oh, what a patient man you are." Well, you got to have a lot of patience. You got to have some training. You got to have some people skills. You got to have some knowledge on how to deal with kids. In 2011, when I started driving school bus, I was not aware that I was tumbling out of the Great Recession of 2008. I was not aware that I was again moving into a long line of retirees working part-time jobs to supplement their retirement income. I had no idea that the corporate raiders and bankers had rigged the system to squeeze every penny out of the retirement system. Now, 20 years have gone by, I shake my head on the ignorance, especially for a college-educated guy who thought he had things under control and plenty of time to get his act together and get his life straightened out. I guess it is the culmination of a lifetime of being a small-town, small-thinking guy who expected the government to take care of me in my old age. Now I'm working a variety of income producers. 10 part-time jobs in 2019, 11 in 2020. I average about 12 part-time jobs a year. That brings my lifelong total of jobs to 68. It's a big number. Go ahead, start adding up your jobs. Start with number 1. What was the first job you had when you made money? Somebody paid you for doing something. Lawn mowing, babysitting. Go ahead. Start adding up your jobs. Have you got to 5 yet? Has anybody got to 10 yet? Does that put 68 into a little bit more of a perspective? It's shocking when I added them up. Going back to 2010, after a couple of years of enjoying retirement and taking a trip to Alaska and then Hawaii, I signed up for a part-time associate position with the Ankeny Public Schools. They were happy to have a big guy to call on. Special ed classes were a common caller. They always needed a bigger guy to get down on the floor with some of the kids or to be there when a strong back was needed for lifting and such. So, as I've said, I've driven all sizes of school bus, from the short bus for special education students to the very large 81 passenger buses that are used to transport athletic teams and marching bands on long out-of-town trips. A little bit down the road here, I'm going to tell you about a 3-day trip in a snowstorm and staying in a hotel and all that kind of stuff. Things that people don't really think that school bus drivers get involved with. Okay, back to reality. That bus driving business has extended to driving motor coaches. Those are the big 30-ton, 45-passenger luxurious tour buses used by colleges, sports teams, and tour groups. Branson is a favorite stop. I love Branson. More on that later. That effort has crossed into driving an RV. I drove an RV on contract for the state of Iowa, driving as a tour guide and a location scout for a TV production from Britain. Then I added Uber to the mix. I almost said mess, but it's the mix. The Uber experience has been one of the very best. Such an interesting group of people. Such an eye-opener when it comes to the environment we live in. I had no idea how diverse our Des Moines community was. So many stories and so many great conversations. People coming and going from all over the world, all over the United States, and in town for a day or two, never been here, didn't know anything about Iowa, didn't know anything about Des Moines. That continues to be fun. Most everyone is ready to share their stories. I just have to get them talking. I think another book is developing. I think I'll call it Uber Chat. But now I feel trapped in a world of awkward responses to everyday concerns. I grew up in small-town Minnesota, where you learned to trust the folks in charge. Who is managing this mess? Where is the compassion? Where is the empathy? That seems like a good place to stop for today. I like to keep my podcast below 20, and I got a little too busy there with talking about going to war with Iran. Like I said, the music in the intro, if you want to play it again, Punch up sound stripe on Google and find The Long Winter by Cody Martin. I think you'll really enjoy it. This is Jim Stordahl, hashtag bipolar dad, hashtag Jim the bus driver. My website is www.jamesstordahl.com. We'll be seeing you.